Hauschildt, collegiate rehab specialist and strength coach. I'm going to talk a few more minutes here about the suspension trainer and how we utilize it for our long-term rehabs. And I do get a lot of questions, especially for knee rehabs and the post-ops on how we utilize this. I like it because it really gives us a lot of stability. It forces our athletes to stabilize whenever they're going through movement. I also like it because it just gives me a lot more options as far as what I can do. So our athlete here is one of our soccer athletes who is coming off a significant surgery. She's several months out now. She was not weight bearing for about 6 weeks, and now we're kind of in that intermediate phase where she's able to do a lot of functional activities, but just not doing everything we'd like for her to do. So we're trying to build strength, build stability, restore her functional movement patterns and things like that. So first movement I want to talk about is working on a single leg bridge and straight leg bridge. Really the glutes are extremely important when it comes to knees and knee rehab and protecting that knee, making sure everything tracks correctly and stays in good alignment. So we're going to use a straight leg bridge to really get this glute firing and build stability in that hip. First thing I want to do is have her use these kettlebells here. We're going to try to load this core up and get this core firing. I want her to crush these handles, squeeze those lats and pack those shoulders in, keep those shoulders out of her ears, and this really gives me a good upper body core loaded position. Okay. From here, I'm going to have her take her knee up, heel up, toe up position, basically like we're in a hurdle step, and I'm just going to have her start with a bridge. So she's going to bridge off the floor, back down. So right now we're getting a ton of good glute firing, and she's really having to stabilize with this unstable surface. Let's go again. Unstable surface within the suspension trainer. Now, this is an entry-level movement. Depending on what other movement pattern she's struggling with, if she's struggling with a hurdle step, we can work on that in that environment. So she's going to bridge up, give me this good stability. Now she's going to straighten this leg out and bring it back up to the top of that hurdle step position. Okay? And back down. Let's go again. We're still working on this position with her a little bit. She back down. She tends to want to rotate that foot out, so we're going to continue to try to cue her on that. Let's go one more time here. Straighten out, keep this foot up, and we'll bring it back in. Okay, so we can work on that hurdle step position. Now, if she struggles with her straight leg raise, we can work on that as well while really building stability around this hip. So now she's going to bridge up, straighten this leg out, and then work on that active straight leg raise. Bring it back up. Good, and down. Good, so we can work on that straight leg raise while we're at it as well. All the time, keeping this core fired so we're not arching the back and working on this glute and hip stability. Okay, next exercise I want to talk about, I'm going to have her hop up. As we talked about, the glutes are important, but really the glute med is the one I want to spend a lot of time on. So we're going to shorten up these handles a little bit. We're going to work on a basic drop step lunge. So she's going to grab the handles here, and we're going to load up that glute med with a drop step lunge. So she's going to be nice and tall, really fire these, her core staying nice and tight, pack these shoulders in, and she's going to reach back with that foot back here to a 45-degree angle and drop down into it, okay? And back up, okay? Back to starting position. So we're going to go through this in a nice, controlled, fluid manner. Give me a couple more of these here. If she's doing it right at the top here, she's going to squeeze here, she's going to take tight here, squeeze these handles, go again. Really using the trainer just to give her some stability, give her a little bit of assistance if she's not quite strong enough to get to that position. But if she's doing it right, she's going to feel that really tighten up there in that glute med area. Okay? Last exercise we're going to go into is working on a lunge. And a lot of athletes coming out of a surgery really struggle with a lunge. And this is for several reasons. Number one, obviously, it is a single leg activity, so strength is a factor. But the things that I see is a lot of dysfunction along with it in the core, and if that psoas is not functioning right, it's going to want to mess with this lunge as well. So we really want to make sure we work on getting everything nice and stable, working on stability before we come out of that lunge. It will help her tremendously. So right here, what we're going to start with is just in this inline lunge position. I'm going to have her press up overhead and really keep tension on this band and nice and tight. She's already fired this glute, so she's stable there, and she's tightened these abs. Bring it back down. So we're going to work on this a little bit before we go into anything else. Really trying to pack these shoulders down and in. There we go. So everything in the posterior chain is really nice and tight. After that, we're going to go into a one hand up, one hand down position. Okay? So now by pushing into this handle, she stays tight in her abs. She stays tight in her posterior chain here by pushing back into this handle. And we bring it back down. So we're really building stability throughout this entire core and trunk. Let's go again. So she's really pushing against these bands. Now from here, I'm going to go ahead and have her stand up out of that. Basically a dead start lunge. She's going to stay nice and tight, not arch in the back, and back down, drop down into it, nice and controlled. Now if I asked her to just pop out of that lunge without any of this, she would really struggle, probably flex at the core, at the trunk. By giving her this stability, it's much easier for her to come out of that bottom lunge and look good. So once again, we use the suspension trainer for a lot of stability and a lot of different training for our post-op knees. Give some of these things a try and really get after it.